Hello, 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 Christmas Flixers. Welcome back to season 5 of Chicks on Christmas Flicks, where we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. I'm KL Brady, and I know it's been a while. I took some time off, and I've had a lot going on at work, but I am back. Welcome back, everyone. This will be the first of a couple of back to back shows. Today, we'll be talking about some Christmas movie news and some updates before Christmas in July. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today about all the good news and stuff that's coming up. The first thing, though, I wanted to talk about was a testimony moment. So pause if you want to skip this part because you don't want to hear about my spiritual rantings. Then please skip ahead to St. Nick shoutouts. But for those of you who want to hear my story, I have a couple of, I have like 3 really good stories, but 2 I'm going to do on the show. One is going in a book. So just, kind of be aware that stuff is going to happen. I'm going to get this stuff in the shows. To me, I feel like, I just want to share my experiences. And also, if it helps you or if some spiritual insight that I have helps somebody else out there, even if it's just one person, then it's worth it to me to take time to do it. So anyway, here's my testimony. So I think I experienced what is a real life God wink. Like, it was small but meaningful to me, and it came at the exact right time. This is going to sound absolutely ridiculous to anybody who doesn't have the belief that I have, but I'm going to share this with you anyway. So anyway, you guys knew about my truck, right? That was supposed to get repaired. Well, while I was waiting for my car to get, while I was waiting to get the repairs done on my truck, I decided to buy a car. And my truck is a V8, which is a gas guzzler, right? That's just code for gas guzzler. My car is a V6. It uses a whole lot less gas. So I plan to use it to drive long distances because it uses a lot less gas. It came, so when I bought the car, which was in March, I think, sometime, it came with a 3-month Sirius XM membership. Now, I never took advantage of the membership. It was activated on the car. I didn't even know it. I never went to try and find it. If you know anything about these fancy smancy cars nowadays, like, you really have to go digging to like find certain features within the electronic dashboard, right? So I had just never actually gone to look for it or whatever. But apparently there was a satellite button basically in my car that will allow me to get Sirius XM. I never knew it was there, never listened to it, never activated it, never did anything, right? So what happened is I said, no, I'm not going to get it. So check this out. I'm returning from Greensboro, North Carolina, right? From my uncle's homegoing. Now, that was a difficult time. But because I was taking my dad with me, I decided, well, I've got to have the Sirius XM in the car because we have to have that gospel. My dad likes to listen to gospel music, and we have to have it gospel through the whole trip. So my uncle, he had pancreatic cancer. This is kind of a side note, right? This is the same cancer that took his mother, my grandmother, right? Anyway, so I am so sad. I'm going down for the funeral. I'm ridiculously sad. My uncle used to be an ExxonMobil exec, right? And for accounting. And I would speak to him along with my dad's siblings on Sundays. And one thing, like, when I used to struggle at work, I still struggle at work. I have different various things I go through at work. And when I was struggling, he told me, he said, pray every morning and every night, and then just do your best. Just do your best work. pray every morning and pray every night, and everything's going to work out okay, right? It's only this year that I've actually started praying like every morning and every night. And I find that it just makes me feel better. Like, I feel like whatever I have gone through the day, I kind of reinforce the spiritual aspects at night. And that way I sleep better. And then when I wake up, I say my prayers. And so it's like I'm maintaining like this constant connection. Anyway, so we go down for the funeral. Like I say, I am just ridiculously sad. I go to sleep crying. I wake up crying. Now, this is my dad's little brother. My dad was literally home in a toddler when my grandmother brought my uncle home from the hospital. So he's known him literally all his life, right? I thought he was really going to struggle. He wasn't the one struggling. I'm the one struggling, right? I am struggling hard. And so anyway, we get to the funeral, and I am just sad beyond belief. And so I'm like, how am I going to keep it together? Because like we have this very dignified family, so it's not okay to like go in the funeral and be like wailing and carrying on, falling out. The inside, this is what I feel like I want to do, but I know it's not going to fly with my family, right? So I'm keeping it together. I'm keeping it, keeping it together. I'm keeping it pulled together. Anyway, so my dad, he goes in to the church right before the funeral, and he leaves me and my son in the car. And again, my heart is just broken. I'm so sad. And so I'm getting ready to go inside, and this song comes on. The song is "My Soul Has Been Anchored in the Lord." Yeah, you can listen to it free on YouTube. You can pull it up on iTunes, right? I'm not playing it here because I don't want to get too emotional where I can't finish the show. But anyway, "My Soul Has Been Anchored in the Lord." If you Google it, the song will come up. You'll be able to hear it, right? This guy, he's a tenor. He sings the song. It's beautiful. Just a beautiful song. So anyway, it comes on this radio, but keep in mind, this is coming on satellite radio, a station I would not have if I didn't have my car, if I didn't buy the car, if I didn't get the membership, right? If I didn't get the series membership, which I wouldn't have gotten it from my truck. What reason would I have gotten it from my truck? I would have just, I have CDs. I have a bunch of gospel CDs in my car. Just played my gospel CDs. I'd have played what was on the iTunes. I just told my dad, oh, well, you just got to live with what we got. The only reason I got the series is because I got the car. So anyway, this song comes on the thing, and the words just they just calm me down a little bit. The song ends, and we go into church, and I get inside. The funeral program begins. My family, everybody's so sad. This is my first of my father's siblings that has ever passed away, right? So this is like new for everybody, and it's definitely new for the nieces and nephews, his daughter, his wife. We're all just kind of muddling through, and the eulogy. It's time for the eulogy, and the eulogy comes, and right before the eulogy, they have this like song. Somebody, I think it's somebody in my family or somebody close to the family, sings a song, and guess what the song is? "My soul has been anchored in the Lord." It is the same exact song that was on Sirius XM radio, which I would not have had if I didn't have the car and if we didn't drive down. I wouldn't have had it. And think of the odds of all the songs, all the gospel songs that could have been played at that moment. It's that very song. And in that moment, when I heard him start singing that, I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Now, this is weird. And then all of a sudden, I felt this calm just overcome me, and that the tears stopped flowing. And I felt better. I felt comforted. Not better, but I felt comforted, And I really felt like it was a message telling me that, Carla, you don't have to cry. You don't have to be so sad because your uncle's okay. And he's with me. And and from that moment, like, I really felt comforted and felt better. And so I feel like the reason why this happened, and the reason why I noticed it, and the reason why it resonated to me, is because I really have been more spiritual lately, praying a lot more lately, closer to God lately, really understand, the role that God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit and all of that have played in my life. Understand the reason for the season, understanding the power behind the God wink and the reason for the God winks. So, what I guess the bottom line up front is just that, just stay close and stay prayerful, and the signs will come. Signs will come to let you know that you've been heard, that you've been seen, that will make you feel better when you don't think you're ever going to feel better again, and you feel better. Things will happen, and you just have to be on the lookout for them, and you have to listen for them, because had I not been in the mental state that I was in, where I was receptive to hearing this stuff, I wouldn't have caught on, and I just was in the place to catch on. And when that Sirius thing came through, it was so funny. Like, honest to goodness, Sirius sends me an ad. Like, every week I would get something in the mail. I would get, please join the membership, and it would just come. At first I would throw them away, but finally I kept one, and then I kept one or two of them, and I left them in my office and all this kind of stuff. And it just happened that when we were driving down the week before my uncle passed, we went to North Carolina so my dad could see him, just to visit with him and everything. We saw him when he was up and getting around, and in a week, literally a week, his health deteriorated to the point where he passed away that next Saturday. So we saw him one Saturday, he passed away the next Saturday. Life is so short. It is so short and so fleeting, and you do not know whether tomorrow is promised or not for you. So, tell people you love them while they're here, honor them while they're here, but also know that you can get comfort in your sadness if somebody passes away. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I just want to pass that along, because I thought, wow, that's like a God winkish moment, right? To hear both the songs right before the funeral and during the funeral, the same song. Out of all the songs, the gospel songs that had ever been released in time, if that one song plays twice within the hour, I mean, that's insane to me, right? So that definitely felt like a God winkish moment. Anyway, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about that. I'm going to start digging into season 5. So of course we will begin the real part of season 5 when Christmas in July kicks off in just a few weeks, right? Lots of movies coming down the pike for Countdown to Christmas, which I will be keeping my eye on and reporting to you. This week, we are going to be talking about changes in Hallmark programming. If you've been watching the Hallmark channels, there's been a change and a rebrand. So we'll be talking about that, how that impacts Christmas movies. And then we'll be talking about several Christmas movies in production for Hallmark and then for other streamers and channels as well. Anyway, first things first, St. Nick's shoutouts. As always, I love to begin the show with St. Nick's shoutouts to listeners, which is one of my favorite traditions. Guys, can you believe I am 5 seasons in? This is season 5. I can't believe it. I'm thankful truly to anyone who squeezes this podcast into their busy schedules, or who makes time to listen to me ramble on about Christmas movies, which is like one of my favorite things in the world to do. Today, I'm going to give you a very short St. Nick shout out. The full-length ones will begin with Christmas in July, and then with the actual season, which starts in October. Anyway, so I'm giving big love to listener locations who continue to listen to the show even after the season ended, after season 4 ended, and you have been listening to the show even until today. So I want to give some big shout outs to everyone who is sticking with the show after all this time. I can't believe it. 5 listener locations. I'll go ahead and get started. Remember, I don't know who you are, but I know where you live. The first location is Rex, Georgia. Rex, Georgia. Thank you so much for joining the show. Number 2 is Granger, Indiana. Granger, Indiana. Thank you so much for joining the show. Number 3 is Chanhassen, Minnesota. Chanhassen, Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining. Number 4 is Childersburg, Alabama. Childersburg, Alabama. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. And last but not least, one of my favorite places near and dear to my heart, Akron, Ohio. Thank you, Akron, Ohio, for listening. I'm so grateful to have you on the show. Now, some of you may wonder why Akron is so near and dear to my heart. I used to actually go to college at the University of Akron for like a year and a half. I was an Akron Zip. Zip, if you don't know, Zippy, who was the mascot, is a kangaroo. So Zippy the kangaroo. I don't know if you guys have seen videos of like kangaroos, but they are not to be played with. Let me just say, I always thought they were kind of silly and everything, but I've seen some kangaroos that actually box. So, don't discount the kangaroos. All right, anyway, thank you so much, Akron. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. And please stay tuned over the next month. I've got some good stuff coming up. All right. Ho, ho, ho. Holiday headlines. Now it's time for some Christmas news and some Christmas movie news. All right. First thing let's talk about is the Hallmark rebrand. Okay. So, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last 6 months and you have been watching the Hallmark channel, you will know they just kind of slipped this in. I don't even think there was like a big announcement. So Hallmark's done some rebranding. Now keep in mind that Hallmark, there was a leadership change at Hallmark last year, right? Wanya, she is no longer the CEO. They brought in a new CEO to replace her, and I'm guessing this is kind of just another extension of you have new leadership in place, new things in place, new work in place, etc., etc., etc. So I'm sure we're going to see some shifts in not only the branding of the channels, but then probably some content too. And I'm going to keep a lookout for what those changes are. Anyway, so we still have the Hallmark channel, which is still the Hallmark channel. Hallmark Movies and Mysteries is now Hallmark Mystery, and Hallmark Drama is now Hallmark Family. Now I will tell you, here's what I was concerned about. What are we gonna do for Christmas movies, right? With this new branding, right? Because Hallmark Mystery is very specific. And Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, you could kind of throw anything in that bucket. But when you label something Hallmark Mystery, to me, that really narrows the scope of what can go on that channel. And there aren't a whole lot. There are some Christmas mysteries, obviously, on the list of things. And I have even done a show about my favorite Christmas mysteries before, right? But enough to have like 24/7 programming for like 4 months. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's that much, right? So like I said, I was kind of concerned about what Christmas countdown to Christmas is going to look like. Even if you get past Christmas in July, what countdown Christmas is going to look like, right? So for countdown to for Christmas in July, I think what I'm expecting is that we won't get 24/7 programming like we've gotten in the past. What we'll get is like, that 10 hour, 11 hour, 12 hours of Christmas programming that starts like 10 in the morning, ends at 10 at night, and then we'll go to Golden Girls and Frasier and Reba, right? And we'll have that regular programming all the way through the night hours, right? And then we'll start with the Christmas hours. And then on the Christmas Mystery Channel, that will probably have 2 or 3 Christmas movies that start somewhere around the 5 to 7 o'clock time frame and end by 10 to 12, right? So I'm thinking that's kind of the time, what the programming will look like during those time frames. If we get 24/7, which I much prefer, okay, I would be thrilled to pieces. I just don't know if that's gonna happen. So I'm anxiously awaiting what happens. But what I do see happening is like more Christmas mysteries, right? And for a long time, Ion has been the Christmas Mystery Channel, right? They have been kind of branded the Mystery Channel after at least Christmas Mystery Channel during the last couple of seasons, right? I mean, everything they've shown has been some kind of Christmas mystery. So what I'm expecting is that more of that content will be categorized that way at Hallmark, and that will be shown on that channel. And then they'll probably have a bunch of other stuff too. A bunch of new programming, new movies, etc., explicitly designed to be mystery content for the Hallmark Mystery Channel. This is what I think, right? This is what I'm thinking, because I'm just thinking like, you got to do something for that. And then what I think for Hallmark Family, which was formerly Hallmark Drama, last year they had started showing all the classics, right? All the Christmas classics that fit much better under a Hallmark Family brand than they fit under a Hallmark Drama brand, because some of those movies were actually pretty funny. Like, I don't consider Winter Wonderland like a drama. To me, it's a rom-com, right? With a couple of dramatic elements, but for the most part, it's rom-com. And I would say the same goes for like a movie like Nearly Wed, right? Which to me is a rom-com. Yes, it may have a few little dramatic moments in it, but it's a rom-com. And as most Hallmark rom-coms have like slightly dramatic moments in it, for the most part they are rom-coms, right? So but I thought that the Hallmark Family Channel would probably have the classic ones, the ones that I consider classics, like Winter Wonderland, like Finding Christmas, like Trading Christmas, right? All that good stuff. Those are movies I consider Christmas classics. And so I really thought that would be reserved for that channel. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to break this up. I don't know how they're going to split this up. I don't know if they're just going to have like on Hallmark Drama, Hallmark Family, if they're going to have just Christmas music, Christmas movies, like for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then have like the Waltons, the rest of the week. I don't know how they're going to break this up. It'll be very interesting to see. And the minute I get some idea, some inkling about how they're going to do the programming across these stations next year, I will definitely let you know, because for me, it is a critical consideration for Christmas movies. It is. I mean, we get so really, Hallmark is the home of like the 24/7 Christmas movie, right? No other even Lifetime ducked out of the business last year, right? And normally, at least you would have like an all-day like Christmas movie fest, like from 10. No, they didn't even show Christmas movies, like except for the weekends. So Lifetime even ducked out of that. Of course, on the other streamers, you can watch movies like on Netflix and Prime and stuff like that, but you can't set it to one place and just let it run all day. And I like to do that, honestly, because I'll go in and out. I work from home. I go back and forth between my movies, the movies and work. Sometimes I'll hear it playing and I'll run out and watch a scene that I really want to watch. So I really like sitting my TV on a channel and just letting it roll like all day and all night for Christmas. So without that programming, it's just going to make it really kind of tough for those of us who are addicts like me. But I am looking forward to seeing how they make the adjustment this year, given their rebranding. Next piece of news. So that's it for that news. Like I said, that's one of the ones I'm going to have to just stay on top of and report back to you later. The next one is the annual Christmas convention, the Christmas Con convention, right? So this, for like since the beginning of the pandemic, they've been holding Christmas Con like every year, and it's gotten better and better and better. From what I've seen, I've never been to one, but from what I've seen on the reporting, just more and more stars have shown up, and this year is not going to be any different. So from December 13th through the 15th, there is going to be Christmas Con, and 13 Hallmark stars are slated to join in Christmas Con, the 5th annual convention. The stars include fan favorite Kimberly Susted of Three Wise Men and a Baby movie, and then the one that's coming up this year, which we'll talk about a little bit. Melissa Claire Egan, who starred in Holiday for Heroes. Jen Lilly, who is a Hallmark alum, who is now aligned with Great American Family. And so she'll be there. And you know, she's done a ton of Christmas movie stuff. Rachel Scarston, oh my gosh. I love her in just about everything she does. She's going to be, and she did Christmas Island. Christmas Island is coming up next weekend. Next Friday, she'll be in Christmas Island. So I am excited to see that again. And then I think it's Marry Me at Christmas was the other one that she did with Trevor Donovan. I loved her in that one. That's one of my favorite movies that used to be on my DVR. I'll tell you guys about my DVR mishap maybe in the next episode. I'll tell you about what happened there. It's kind of a nightmare. Michael Brady, you know, the one I told you could sing his face off. He's been in so many Christmas movies. I just love him. He's one of my favorites. So, David Hayden Jones has been in like a ton of Hallmark movies and Christmas movies. He's done things like The 5 More Minutes, right, which we all love. And then he did like A Bramble House Christmas. I loved him in that. My Christmas Dream. He did A Cookie Cutter Christmas. Remember that one? That's like one of my favorites. I consider that one actually a classic now. I think it was made in like 2014 or something like that, right? And then, of course, one of the classics of the classics, Dear Santa, right? You remember Dear Santa? Now, I know they show that mostly on the Lifetime network now, but that was absolutely one of my favorite. And he did it with one of my favorite stars for Hallmark or any channel, which is Amy Acker. I love her. You know, she did Nutcracker Christmas. She did Crashing Through the Snow. Do you remember that? Crashing Through the Snow, which used to be on my DVR, which is no longer. But anyway, I'll have to talk to you guys about that in the next episode. But anyway, so I'm really excited to hear that he is going to be in at Christmas Con. And there's a few more stars going to be there, including Jesse Schramm, who you know is one of my favorites. I just recorded The Birthday Wish on my DVR. Stephen Huszar, and Travis Van Winkle, and various other stars that are going to be there. All right. So keep an eye out for Christmas Con. Now, there is some other news coming up that'll come up in the next episode about something special that Hallmark is putting on in Kansas City. So big effort going on there. Similar to Hallmark Enchant, but different. and I can't wait to share that news with you guys. So you gotta listen into the next show. Okay, so another piece of news, and it's been all over the news and all over my Google alerts this week, is that Quinta Brunson, who stars in and writes for Abbott Elementary, she's an African American, and she has made it loud and clear that she wants to write Christmas movies for Hallmark. Now, what I had to say to that, at first, I was all like bitter because I'm like, if she gets to write for Hallmark before I do, like I'm gonna be angry, even though I love her. Like she and I are gonna fight if she gets Hallmark movies. I love her. She's like hysterical. She's like one of my favorite like writers, producers of any kind of content on the web. She had her own little web show before she had like Abbott Elementary, which I love. I've been loving her for a long time. So, but all I wanted to say about that is like, get in line, sis. Who doesn't want to write for Hallmark for the Christmas movies? She is so not alone. Now, interesting, she said that she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. So she's actually never celebrated Christmas, but she loves Christmas movies. She says she turns on the Hallmark Christmas movies at the beginning of the season and lets them run for the entire season. I can completely relate to that, and that only makes me love her more. I really love this story. I have, now that she's made her wish clear, like I have no doubt she's going to get picked up for writing Christmas movies. She says she's going to write under a pseudonym if she gets the opportunity. I just want to let Hallmark know for people like me, like you can't actually have more than one black writer. And if you need 2 or 3 more additional people, you could consider me as one. I'm a Christian. I come from a Christmas crazy family, and I write Christmas stories. So I just want to put myself out there. As I sit here and talk about her love of Christmas movies and stuff, I want to mention mine. I love Christmas stories. I love Christmas movies, obviously, because I do this podcast. I actually have some work out there. Actually, you know what? I haven't updated you guys in a long time with my book that was being shopped. I do have a book that has been shopped out there, but I think it's fallen into the black hole that is almost Hollywood, where you're shopped in and around it, but it didn't actually get picked up or whatever. So anyway, anybody out there, feel free to acquire any one of my books for movie scripts. So it's out there for you to have. Anyway, so that ends my begging, but I'm excited. I hope that Hallmark, I hope you pick up Quinta. I hope you got that hint and you pick her up to do some movies for Hallmark, because I know they would be great and they would be funny. And just let her be funny. It's okay. It's okay. Like Crashing Through the Snow, I would consider actually a funny movie. Like it's like laugh out loud funny. So hey, you have those movies. Let her be laugh out loud funny on your show. I'm excited. And you could also let me be laugh out loud funny on your show. I'm just saying, putting that out there in the universe. For anybody who like to hear. I'm sure Hallmark is not listening to this podcast, but if anyone happens to hear, that's just news for you. You can do what you want with it. All right, now it's time for some more Christmas. Countdown to Christmas movie news. What's coming up for Christmas? Not just Countdown to Christmas, but It's a Wonderful Lifetime and Netflix Christmas and all the good stuff, right? All right. So, as we talked about Hallmark's rebranding just a few minutes ago, the first project that I want to talk about is that Hallmark Media announced that Grey's Anatomy alum Sarah Drew will star in Mistletoe Murders, a holiday-themed mystery series on Hallmark Mystery Channel, which was rebranded in March to elevate Hallmark's commitment to its family-friendly mystery franchises. I could not be more excited about this. I mean, it combines Christmas and mystery. It's like, how wonderful is that? Now check this out though. Mistletoe Murders is actually based on an Audible podcast of the same name that's been a quote-unquote global hit. Now, honestly, I'd never heard of it until I saw this, but now that I've heard of it, now that I've seen it, I'm actually going to go pull it up on Audible and listen to it. I'm excited. I'm actually writing a cozy mystery myself. So I'm excited to hear what it is. Anyway, so Drew will play the lead character, Emily Lane, and she will also serve as an executive producer on the show, which will film in Toronto beginning in June. So next month, they're going to start. So they're going to have these shows ready for October. I'm excited. October, November, somewhere in there, that we'll see these premiere for the Christmas season. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, and the next piece of news, we have Three Wiser Men and a Boy. So, you know what that is? That is the follow-on movie from Three Men and a Baby. So they said, oh, we're not going to do a sequel. We're not going to do a sequel. And now they're doing a sequel. You know why? Because fans and the fans have spoken, and this is what they wanted. So this is what we got. I'm so excited about it. So in this sequel, the Brenner brothers will return, and they will be featured in the 2024 Countdown to Christmas programming. So that is this year. I'm very excited about that. The follow-up of the film begins 5 years after the previous one, where the Brenner brothers are preparing for another memorable Christmas. In a crazy turn of events, the director of Luke's Walker, Andrew Walker, his son Thomas's, Miles Marthaler, school holiday musical steps down. So the director of the school musical steps down, and of course, gotta be Luke and the brothers stepping in to save the day, right? Luke is desperate to make his son's stage dreams come true, so he enlists the help of his brothers, Taylor, which is Tyler Hines, and Stephen, who is Paul Campbell. Meanwhile, the trio navigates meeting their mom, Barbara's new boyfriend. Three boys and a boyfriend is what they should have called this movie. Because, holy cow, let me tell you, I have one son. I can't imagine having three and trying to date. Lord have mercy. And the brothers grapple with their own feelings about this relationship. In true Brenner brother fashion, they are all in for a Christmas they will never forget. Fantastic. I am so excited about that. Along the same lines of Three Wiser Men and a Boy, we have another Hallmark favorite coming back with Lacey Chabert and Christopher Palaha, not one, I should have said two Christmas favorites coming back in The Christmas Quest, which is an all-new holiday movie set to premiere later in 2024 as part of the 15th annual Countdown to Christmas programming. The movie is the first pairing. It's the first pairing of Christopher Palaha and Lacey Chabert. Now, he was in her movie. What is that? You know the movie I'm talking about, where she was part of the HOA from, hell, basically. You know what I'm talking about there, right? But he was in that movie, if I remember correctly. And the movie centers around an archaeologist, Chabert, and her ex-husband, Palaha, an expert in ancient Norse languages. They're sent to Iceland at Christmas time to search for a legendary treasure. When others join in the hunt, the pair finds themselves swept into a thrilling adventure as they race to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. So I'm excited. So we've got some really powerhouse favorites. And I got to tell you, in the next show, there's a couple more movies coming up from Hallmark that I want to announce. I haven't seen them widely talked about. I don't know if they've been out there, but I haven't seen them widely talked about. So I'm really excited to give you guys a scoop on these two movies. All right, so they're coming up in the next show. The next piece of news for this show is Mario Lopez. So, Mario left Lifetime and signed multi-feature deals stuff with Great American Family. So there has been reports that he's been spotted out for filming the movie with a Christmas movie with his wife in Illinois for Great American Family. So apparently that news was on Instagram. I did not get a chance to look it up. I just found the news and I was like, ooh, I gotta keep an eye on this, because I love me some Mario Lopez, but the last two movies that he did with Lifetime were less than memorable for me. So I really hope that he has much more success on Great American Family. All right. In this next piece of news, we have Christmas Karma. Christmas Karma. I think this might be like a new feature film, or I don't think it's Netflix, but I think it's a new feature film coming up. The beloved soap star Danny Dyer and the Big Bang Theory star. Now, I love the Big Bang Theory. That's one of my favorite TV shows. Kunal Nair. We're seen filming for a new Christmas film. The upcoming festive movie called Christmas Karma has been written and directed and produced by, listen to this, Bend It Like Beckham director Gurinder Chadha, and will be a modern Bollywood musical inspired by Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Listen, I am all in for that one. Do you hear me? It's Bollywood, it's musical, and it's got, one of my favorite directors, because I love Bend It Like Beckham, and she's done several other things. And then I love, Kunal Nair. I loved him in The Big Bang Theory, and I might be butchering his name, doesn't matter. I liked him, loved him in The Big Bang Theory. So there you have it. Okay, now check this out. So in this next piece of news coming out of Amazon, we have Red One. Now, I reported Red One like 2 years ago, right? But it just never came to fruition. Remember, the news about Red One came out about the same time that the movie news on Eddie Murphy came out. Well, Eddie Murphy's movie came out last year, but we've not seen hide nor hair of Red One, which is interesting. Anyway, Red One is a Christmas action movie centered on Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? Teaming up with Chris Evans, the Marvel superhero, Chris Evans, that one, on a mission to rescue a kidnapped Santa Claus, who is J.K. Simmons now. I don't know if you know who J.K. Simmons is. I know who J.K. Simmons is. He's like crazy good. Crazy and good. Crazy good. In the movie, Red One, Johnson is also supposed to be reuniting with Jake Kasdan, who directed him in Jumanji, in the last Jumanji movie, right? He's also enlisted Chris Morgan to pen the script, having worked with him on the Fast and Furious movies, right? Fast 5, Fast 6, Furious 7, and Hobbs and Shaw, right? So he's got some familiar characters in the show with him, and it's definitely some high-powered action actors, right? With that being said, though, the news has it that the Red One facing some challenges because of The Rock. Can you believe that? Like, in all the movies that he's done with so many stars, and like he's starred with like Kevin Hart. So I have to say that, this is rumored, right? It's rumor. It's not, it's not been confirmed. It's not been reported by like NBC News or whatever. But apparently, if you listen to the rumors, he hasn't been actually showing up for work. And he's run the budget for this one like sky high. And so now they're having some challenges with finishing it because he's not actually coming to work and doing the thing. I would hate to think that after all this time and the professional reputation that he has built for himself over the years, that he has become a diva who just doesn't respect the time of other people. Like, I can't imagine that. So there's got to be a reason for it, if it's going on at all. So I'm going to dig some more into that. But, everything I've found has like been along these lines, which is, he's been very difficult and the budget's out of the sky. And so, we shall see how that one comes out, but I'll keep an eye on that and keep reporting back to you on that. The next movie I want to talk about today was Aurora Christmas with Jill Wagner, Lauren Holly. Now we know both of these from Hallmark movies, and Jesse Hutch. Yes, Jesse, starring in a movie for Great American Family. So this movie's called Aurora Christmas, where Erin joins her dad, Bruce Boxleitner. I know his name and I know him as an actor. I just cannot place his face right now. But she joins her dad for a Christmas in the family's former hometown of Aurora, on a mission that is part business, selling the family home, and a major bucket list item for Erin is to see the Aurora Borealis light up the northern sky, right? Realtor Lori, who is Lauren Holly, and a family friend and local tour guide, Trevor, Jesse Hutch, create a Christmas inspired at every turn by faith, love, and hope. So much so that the Christmas bells hung over decades in a forest grove ring an unbroken song, a harbinger of miracles to come. The Christmas bells ringing. I feel like we've had that movie. I want to say Autumn Reeser was in it. The guy, she was in Antonio. You know what I'm talking about? They did that movie on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries with the bells that rang and then didn't ring. Jill was in that one movie, Christmas in Evergreen. Bells are ringing. Gosh, why didn't one of you guys remind me what the name of that movie was? Anyway, so it sounds like it's a combination of those things, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm not sure if that will make my Christmas movie watching list, but for those who want to watch, I definitely want to make sure that you stay up on the news. All right. And so just a couple more pieces of news for today. One is in Cannes, which has been like a hotbed of drama. If you've seen any of the stuff with the news, with the actresses that have been there, it's been some stuff going on. But it's been a great year for Christmas movies, apparently. So the first piece of news is Christmas Eve and Miller's Point. And apparently this is going to be one of those kind of emotional roller coasters that's going to take you across the entire range of emotion. And I don't like those kinds of movies, but it sounds like it's going to be a good one, so I might watch it. If it was like comedy, I'd be like all over it, but if it's romantic comedy, all over it. It's like straight up my alley. But if it's not, I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, like any Christmas film worth the time it took to wrap, Tyler Taormina's Wry But Melancholy, Christmas Eve in Miller's Point has a bone-deep understanding of why all the best holidays are so painfully bittersweet. They bring the evanescence of our lives into focus, crystallizing the passage of time while slowing it down just enough for us to appreciate how much of it already melted into memory. Unlike the rest of its way too crowded genre, Taormina's contribution has precious little interest in doing anything else. I'm really excited about this. I mean, the critics seem to be very high up on it. It will probably end up on my Christmas watching list, but we'll see how it goes. And then the last big movie on my list for today is Oh What Fun. Amazon. It's going to be on Amazon and MGM. It stars. It's like a huge list of stars, right? Michelle Pfeiffer, Eva Longoria, Danielle Brooks, Maude Apatow, Jason Schwartzman. Just a long list of stars, right? And claims to be a love letter to moms and a cross between Home for the Holidays. You know that movie with Holly Hunter? I love that movie. It's one of my favorite holiday movies. And then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy and Steve Martin, which is hysterical. It's like one of the funniest movies ever, right? So the story centers around Claire Koster, Michelle Pfeiffer, who organizes a special Christmas outing, but her family forgets her in the shuffle. By the time they realize it, she's gone missing, and their family Christmas is in jeopardy. Luckily, nothing will stop Claire from giving her family the Christmas they deserve. Now, check this out. A little piece of news. It's based on a short book published on Amazon Original Stories. Michael Showalter is producing the film and co-wrote the script with the author of the short story, Chandler Baker. Here's the thing. I love Michael Showalter. So I don't know if a lot of you guys go back, but I go back with a long ways with Michael Showalter. Two things that come up in my mind when I think of him. One is The Idea of You. I don't know if you've seen this movie on Amazon, but I did watch it after seeing a bunch of stuff on my Facebook page about it. But The Idea of You is a romantic comedy, and I loved it, but I gotta tell you, it is steamy. So if you don't want to see steamy, you don't watch that movie. It is a bit steamy. It's certainly steamier than any Hallmark or Lifetime or Christmas movie you will ever watch in your entire life, right? So it's not super steamy, and they don't put a lot on the screen, but they put stuff on the screen. But he directed that, right? Now, I hadn't heard of his work, or followed him in doing a lot of work since. This is the reason why I fell in love with Michael Showalter, is this movie called The Baxter, right? Now, this is a funny rom-com. Anybody can watch it. Very clean, very good. Now, it goes back to 2005, like one of my favorites. So, I can't even tell you how many times I have watched this movie. To the point that I know the song. There's a song Michelle Williams sings in the movie. I know that song by heart, even if I don't sing with the movie. And I can't sing with the movie, and I could probably recite most of the lines with the movie, if not all the lines. Like, I know that movie that well. I've seen it that much. But if you haven't seen The Baxter, I think it's on Max Originals. So if you go in Max and you look up the movies, you look up The Baxter, watch The Baxter, you'll love it. Like I said, clean movie, very good, very funny. It's like one of my favorite rom-coms, period. Like, if I had a list of rom-coms, just, feature and Hallmark movies, like, that would be for sure on my list somewhere. I love that movie. But it has a bunch of A-listers in the movie before they really became A-listers. So Justin Theroux is in that movie, Michelle Williams is in that movie, and Elizabeth Banks, of Hunger Games fame, is in that movie. I just watched it twice recently. Oh, you know who else is in there? The guy who played the Hulk. What's his name? Paul Rudd. Even he is in that movie. But this is way before the Hulk, right? So it's not a Christmas movie. It doesn't even have holiday elements in it, I don't know. They might have like one or two scenes that are like winterish. It might be holiday-ish, but it's really not a Christmas movie at all. But it's so good. So if you get time, definitely take a look at it. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about today, a couple things. One is I want to talk to you about Christmas in July. Got to talk about that a little bit. And then I'm going to take a break, come right back, and then we're going to talk about a Christmas movie that I saw a few weeks ago that came out last Christmas season that I just did not get a chance to watch. Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit. All right, and this is one I really wanted to see. All right, so what's coming for Christmas in July? So the ads have just started to come out. Literally just, like, I saw 2 Christmas in July ads on Hallmark as I watched movies over this weekend. But anyway, what they're saying is that there's going to be 2 new movie premieres, right? I personally believe, now I hope they are new movies. Let's just get that straight. Like, it is my hope that they will be 2 entirely, completely new movies. But what I think is going to happen is that they're going to play those 2 movies that they put on Hallmark Movie Now that premiered on Hallmark Movie Now last year, and they never showed them on the actual Hallmark channel. And so I've seen them like start to kind of move they move a movie over from one channel to the other, and it's like a premiere because it's new to that channel, but it's not new to Hallmark. Well, I think that's what's going to happen here. And so my thinking is that they're going to have two new movies, but they're going to be the ones that came off Hallmark Movie Now, which is Rescuing Christmas, right? And Ice Palace Christmas Romance. An Ice Palace Romance, right? Now, I have watched both of those. I actually love Rescuing Christmas, and I thought last season they should have put Rescuing Christmas on, like the last week of Christmas when they've run out of movies and they just do a bunch of, repeats. That they could have actually debuted Rescuing Christmas, and it was a great movie. It was in competition with another movie, which I talked about, I think, on a previous episode, but I think this movie to me is far and above better than the one that came out last year. Rachel and then Sam Page played in this Rescuing Christmas, and I really loved it. I actually thought it was a really good movie. And Ice Palace Romance was not, to me, as good as Rescuing Christmas, but it is a good filler movie for Christmas in July. So I'll say that. And then they're supposed to show the extended cut of Three Wise Men and a Baby that has only been on Hallmark Movies, HM Now, right? They're supposed to show that during Christmas in July. So I'm excited about that. Then 2 weeks from now, I just have to say this because Bethany Joy Lenz is my best Christmas friend in my head. Not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. So like the first Friday in June, which I think is June 6th. On Fa La La Friday, they're having a Bethany Joy Lenz weekend. I call it the Bethany Joy Lenz weekend because on Fa La La Friday, they're having The Christmas Secret, which we know stars her. And then Biltmore Christmas is following that up. So that's going to be the Fa La La Friday. But then on that Saturday, they are playing Just My Type, and they're playing her new movie, Savoring Paris. So I cannot wait. I want to see the Christmas movies because the Christmas Secret is one of my all-time favorite classic Hallmark favorites, period. 100%. Like, if I make a list of Christmas classics, that's going to be on it. And the Biltmore Christmas, I love. That was in my top 5 last year. I want to say it was like top 2 last year, right? It's one of my favorite movies. Just My Type and Savoring Paris is just going to be kind of the cherry on top of a great 2-day Bethany Joy Lenz marathon. Okay, so I'm excited about that. That's coming out June the 6th. Like I said, just be aware of it. And I'll be definitely tweeting about those movies when they come out. And then watching, obviously, Savoring Paris in the premiere that weekend as well. Anyway, right now I'm going to take a quick short break, but I'll be right back with a recap and review of the Christmas classic, which I found on Paramount Plus. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Now available for pre-order, are you looking for the perfect romantic comedy to help you find your calling and renew your faith in Christmas magic this holiday season? Look no further than The Nick Before Christmas, a heartwarming story about one woman's journey to her second act and back to her first love. Nikki Wright is ready to celebrate the big 5-0 for Christmas in July, but a hot flash leads her to a sobering realization. Her life has hit rock bottom. Her successes, the home and the car, feel empty. Her vision board has been a waste of time, her job is unfulfilling, and she's mulling over a proposal from Smith, who she's certain she doesn't like. The best day of her life spirals into the worst. During a near-death experience, a meeting with her guardian angel presents Nikki with an ultimatum. Either go to heaven or return to Earth and find her second act by Christmas Eve. If she doesn't succeed, her future's bleak. Her life will be filled with days no better than the worst. With only a few months to make her dreams come true, can Nikki achieve her second act and rekindle an old flame with Jordan to have the Christmas of her dreams? The Nick Before Christmas delivers unforgettable moments of self discovery and romance. It's an enchanting story of love, hope, and faith that will fill your heart with joy this Christmas season.
And I'm back. So, I'm really excited to talk to you today about this Christmas classic movie that was on Paramount Plus. Now, it came out during the 2023 Christmas season, but I never got a chance to actually watch it during the season. So I said, I'll go ahead and watch it now. So, this movie, it was on my radar because it had some of my favorite stars in it. So, Amy Smart was a star in it. You know, I love Amy from Love at First Glance. And then she also did the 12 Dates of Christmas, which has been on Lifetime, and it's also been on Freeform, or the previous iteration of Freeform. I can't remember what that is now, but 12 Dates of Christmas, the 25 Days of Christmas, like that was always like one of the movies they played. And then Malin Acker played her sister in this movie. Now, you might remember Malin from another one of my favorite rom-coms, 27 Dresses. She played the Bridezilla. She was the Bridezilla in this movie, and she played Katherine Heigl's sister in this movie. So I loved both of them in them, and I was really expecting Malin, because she really plays a great bee. So I thought she was going to play the bee, and I thought Amy was going to play the sweet one. That kind of got mixed up. Well, they're both kind of bees, so it's kind of bee against bee. But anyway, so it was just interesting. So anyway, first of all, let me just say that if you do pull this movie up on Paramount Plus, it does have a little bit of language in it. So if your ears are sensitive to the language and the words that are not so Christmassy, please don't watch this movie, because it will not be for you. To me, honestly, they could have left out the language, right? Completely deleted it and made it for TV, and that would have made it like more watchable and more viewable, more accessible to more people. But the fact that they put it on Paramount Plus, it was only on streaming. Then they had these like nonsense curse words in here for no reason. Like, it didn't even help the story. Like, it was beyond me. But anyway, nobody asked me to write it. What am I gonna do, right? Anyway, the plot. To me, it was kind of the enemies to lovers plot with the two main characters, which is Malin Acker, right? She plays this sister who goes back to her hometown to help her fiance's father buy up a local business. It's like a ski resort, right? She gets challenged by the owner of the ski resort to beat her own sister in this Christmas classic. And if she did, then, he would sell, right? And so she gears up for this Christmas classic. But as she's preparing for this Christmas classic, which is like kind of a series of games, Christmas games, and that, the sister takes a great deal of stock in these games, and that a lot of honor from this game and winning the trophy, like it's her whole life, right? And then here comes Malin challenging her for it. Nobody's really been a challenge to her in like a decade, and so now her sister's really like putting up this serious challenge and trying to take her down. Anyway, she ends up at war with her sister essentially to win this Christmas classic. But like I said, as she prepares for this classic, she starts to remember what's so magical about her family and her whole town. And then she starts to evolve and she starts to change. And for the better, of course. But, there's still the clash. There's still a lot goes on. They try to make it Christmassy, but not Christmassy, like tropey. They ended up making it Christmassy and tropey. I think. So, so anyway, it's a Christmas movie. It's, to me, it didn't stun. There was nothing in it that it could have been made for TV except for the language. And if they took the language out, it would probably get a lot more watches than it might otherwise, because a lot of people that watch Christmas movies don't like the language. So I will say, out of my Christmas trees, I'd probably give this like a three Christmas trees even. It's one that if you see it one time, you've probably seen it as many times as you need to see. It's not one of those movies that you're going to go to over and over and over and over and over and over again. Anyway, please stay tuned. There's so much more news and updates to come, especially as news comes out about Christmas programming. Join me next time. In the next episode, like I said, I'm publishing these back to back. As I'm going to explore not one, but 2 new Christmas movies that are slated for Hallmark this year. I'm really excited to talk about them. In addition, I want to talk about a bunch of Netflix movies that are coming out for this year. So thank you to my music and show editor, Will B. He created all the custom music for the show. He's at Wildcard Music, and you can find his IG page below in the show notes. Until next time, remember, at Chicks on Christmas Flicks, we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review on your favorite platform, and tell your Christmas movie-loving friends about this podcast program. Where can you find us? I'm so happy you asked. We are on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. Chicks on Christmas Flicks. Look at the link below if you want to find out all the locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Chicks on Christmas Flicks. Chicks Christmas Flicks. I changed the Twitter handle. So if you want to find us, it's Chicks, CHX, Christmas, spelled completely out, Flicks, FLX. Chicks Christmas Flicks. So, please, if you haven't followed us with the new handle, please make sure that you search for the right handle, because I did change the name. I did not want to have Xmas anymore. It just bothered me. So I wanted to put Christmas out fully. So that's what I did. Anyway, thank you for listening into the show, and tune in to the next episode. So much more to come.